Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's inmost pain music nerd. And it's time for me to talk about some of my favorite records of July, because it's like the end of the month and now it's August. Yeah! The last video that I made like this wasn't really a June video or anything like that. It was more of a, hey, these are my favorite records for the first half of the year sort of thing. There are a few records here that came out in that first half in this list, but I just thought I would remind you guys, put it down there in the description box as well with the last video. I didn't mention my favorite songs of June. So I will be taking some of my favorite songs of June, I will be taking some of my favorite songs of July, and throwing either a list or a link down in the description box where you can see that list of songs from this past few months that I liked, or maybe sort of an updated list of my favorite songs of this year thus far off of theneedledrop.com. Cool? Cool. Let's start with my favorite LPs or EPs or just full-length releases. One, Neil Cicierega's Mouth Sounds and Mouth Silence. These are two sister, amazing, insane, boundary genre envelope pushing mashup albums that are incredibly fun. A lot of people have said to me, "Oh, Anthony, why don't you leave Neil alone? How come you're making a big deal out of these records? How come you're talking about these records? How come this album, you gave it a higher score than Jesus?" Well, it's because it's not like there's just one kind of entertainment in the world. You know, as much as I do take music very seriously, it's not like I like every album I ever listen to be like, "Oh, I'm super serious right now. Oh, this is sad. Oh, this is angry. Oh, I like super sad, angry music." Sometimes I like music that, you know, puts a smile on my face or might be a little silly. And I think this album takes silliness and executes it in a very surprising, creative, interesting, and unique way. So if you want to have some fun and not sit there all the time like, I'm serious, then give these sister mashup albums a listen because they're funny and they're entertaining. Okay? Okay. Next, another fun, entertaining, poppy record, the new Roux album, Trouble in Paradise. Even though it does end off with a very weak finishing track, I do think the vintage 80s style synth pop new wave production on this thing is done very well, and the songs are really catchy, they're sweet, they're well written, and they're accessible. I think this is all around a good album, a good follow-up to Roux's debut LP, albeit maybe a little less radio friendly. Excuse me. I am completely disgusting. All right, next, the new Panopticon record, Roads to the North. This is American black metal with elements of folk music, bluegrass, alt country music, weaved into these long epic songs or sort of getting their own little tiny songs that sort of break up these larger, more epic tracks. It is a pretty diverse album and is all constructed, from what I understand, by one single person, really tight, just flurries, relentless drums on this record, great guitar compositions, and on top of it, a little woodwind, little strings, some banjo on this thing too. It's just got some diverse instrumentation on these tracks. It's just such an intense, long listen, really an epic record, one of the more epic metal records I've heard this year. This next record comes from a metal band, but it is not a metal record. It is the new Wolves in the Throne Room album, Celestite, what could potentially be the sister album to their last full-length LP, which has a similar length in runtime and has a similar title, but this album itself is in sort of an ambient record, sort of a progressive synthesizer record, and a bit of drone metal worked in there too, okay? Just a bit of heavy drone walls of guitar drone occasionally on these tracks as well. It's an interesting change of pace for Wolves in the Throne Room, and for this genre, I think it's a good record. And also I want to give a sort of re-shout out because they didn't make it into my favorites of 2014 so far, though the first of these two records has certainly grown on me since I did put out that video first. Open Mike Eagle, dark comedy, if you're looking for some alternative hip-hop with just really funny, clever messages and some interesting thematic songs, then do look up this Open Mike Eagle album. Open Mike, to me, is just an MC who is ahead of the curve in a lot of ways. He was doing this art rap thing before it was a trend, and he's got a lot to say. He's a thoughtful guy, and he delivers his thoughts eloquently and hilariously in many of the songs on this record. And comedian Hannibal Buress actually does a feature on this thing too, and I think it's one of the best features of the year. Good production as well. And also, Apathy's Connecticut Casual. This dude is a Connecticut-based MC. Pretty much a boom bap flavor on this record. He is a total old schooler in style and delivery, and it shows. And I think what also makes him an old school MC is that he really cares about storytelling, he cares about themes, he cares about concepts going into his songs, and he goes into nearly every single song here with a concept, with an idea that carries throughout the duration of the track, and it just leads to a lot of top-notch songs. Even though this isn't the most cutting-edge sound in hip-hop, it's just a good, solid album, and that's pretty much it. These are my favorite records of the past month or so. Cool? Cool. Transition. What have your favorite records of July been? Let me know. You're the best. I hope you have a good day. And maybe subscribe. I love you. Anthony Fantano. Favorites? Forever.